I knew I wanted to marry her pretty initially into our relationship. I had a pretty good idea. I knew I probably wouldn't find anyone better, so I had a pretty good idea early on. Proposed actually on the football field before a game. She was a Golden Girl dancer at Mizzou, and they do a performance before games during alumni weekend. And I knew she'd be on the field, and so I rallied up a bunch of her friends, got down to the field, and did it before a game, and it was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. I think I went deaf from nervousness.
I've never been more surprised in my life. So the week leading up to the proposal, David had got on this kick where he was like, I'm gonna buy a hot tub for our back patio. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you're gonna buy a hot tub before you buy a ring for me or propose to me.
Yeah.
Like, you're more focused on having fun in your backyard, and I'm ready. So David and I got married September 30th, 2017 at Philbrook Museum of Art. I think what I remember most from the whole day was just those feelings of I'll never feel this again in my whole life, of having all of my favorite people under one roof celebrating us. It was just overwhelming. When I first saw David, I was relieved, which sounds silly, but you just get so anxious to see your significant other on that day. You know,
Get tired of the separation.
yeah, for some people, you know, they see each other for the first time when the bride walks down the aisle, which I think that's so great. But I was ready to see him. I'm so glad we had a first look, so we were able to kind of get the jitters out, relax a little bit together, and kind of take a deep breath before we actually walked down the aisle and got married in front of everyone.
They left me standing and staring at a wall for a long time. I kind of had my nose in the corner for a while, and like, there's so many camera people and like the videographer, but like everyone was extremely quiet. So I like heard this like shuffling after staring at a wall for 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, like, what are we doing here? And then I look up and I realize they have to walk like what seemed like a quarter mile with her dad. And so really initially I saw her, I'm kind of like, that is really far away. I could barely see her. And then the closer she got, the more real it got. And that's kind of when it started to hit me emotionally, like as she got closer, since it was so long. It's like every step I was like, oh boy, this is really, really happening now.
So we've been married for about 3 years, and we're actually currently in the process of thinking about buying a different house and, you know, maybe next year starting a family.
We've tried to knock out bigger trips before we do have a family, because it's definitely easier to travel now. I think my favorite place was Bali, our honeymoon. We went to South America, was it 2 years ago in December?
Yes, yeah, we went to Chile, South America, and it was beautiful.
We also went to South Africa.
That was probably my favorite thing we did, just to see the animals in their kind of natural habitat. So whenever we travel, we try to get two things. One of them is an animal figure, which sounds kind of bizarre, but just something that we can put on a bookshelf, kind of like a little piece of art that we think is, you know, representative of wherever we're traveling. So I think we have a sheep from Chile, a tiger from Bali, and then we have a meerkat from South Africa. So we kind of have this little figurine section. And then we've also picked up a textile no matter where we've been. So we have kind of a little piece of fabric, whether it be a throw or just kind of something you can hang up on the wall. And hopefully one day, you know, we'll have this collection of fabric, whether we make a piece of art out of it or, you know, we just have it as memories. That's kind of a tradition that we've started, is to try to collect various items from the locations we've been to, so we can think, oh, remember when we searched all over South Africa looking for meerkats. We didn't find any, so it's kind of a joke. The meerkat reminds us of South Africa because we never saw a meerkat. So we're in the midst of a pandemic, which has been an interesting life switch. So we actually didn't go to work for a few months. You know, we all had to stay home and work from home. I took it as an opportunity to just make anything and everything I wanted to try to make, because, you know, you're stuck at home, and I love to cook. He was so crazy at first.
That's why I started flying.
It's actually one of my favorite things about David is that he just really commits to whatever he's doing. So he says he wants to be keep, and he's going to be keep, and he's going to be good at it. And he says he wants to cycle, and he's going to get the best bike there is, and he's going to practice as much as he can. So he has his pilot's license, and I have not been up, but I'm going up today for the very first time.
Right after this.
I'm excited but scared.
Before we got married, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, it's extremely hard, it's a lot of work, and I haven't really felt that. It's been pretty easy. Everything just kind of came together nicely, and we work well together, and
Yeah,
I'm sure she has some complaints about me, but I don't
No.
have any complaints about her.
Oh, thank you.
Play video games too much. I do little things like that, but
Hey, if that's the worst, then I think that's fine. A relationship, can be hard. You have to work at it, and once you do work at it for a while, we find being together is easy. We love to be together, and we never fight anymore. I mean, it's just, if you're patient and you work at something and you get good at it, we're good at being together.